Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and Happy New Year to all my subscribers. Whether you're new here, whether you're returning, I really appreciate your support. I don't take it for granted. I hope this new year is a year of success and growth for you. And even as we wind up and start our grind for the new year, I'll be talking more about lifestyle topics. I've been talking a lot in the past year or so about finance heavily. I'll be delving more into lifestyle hacks and some other things. So if you have any topics that you want me to treat, please just leave it in the comments and I'll be more than happy to tackle it. In today's video, I'll be talking about 9 things you should probably consider before you start moving. I know we're in the time of season where a lot of people want to move to a new location, just want a new environment that they can live in, that they can grow in, a new space they can just mold and make their own. But there's some things that you want to consider before you move. So I want you guys to just take note of that. So that's pretty much it for the scope of this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. And without further ado, let's get right to the video. First thing you do want to consider when you're trying to move is that you may not get your security deposit back from the current apartment that you're with. I'll be making another video talking about some tips to help you get your security deposit back, which includes just cleaning, being there for a post-inspection, and a bunch of other tips that will really help you or will increase your chances of getting your deposit back, if not all, maybe some, recouping some of those deposits back. Getting your deposit back is not always a given. In fact, it may be even possible that you've put holes in your walls or done things to the apartment space that you won't be able to cover up when moving day comes around. And of course, there'll be an inspection by the landlady or the landlord to see what the condition of that apartment space is, and based on that they might make some deductions from your deposit that you put in when you first moved. When you've lived somewhere for a very long time, sometimes you don't even realize how much damage you've actually done to the space till it's time to move. And landlords may even try their best to find a reason not to give you your deposit back. Just try to leave the apartment in as pristine of a condition as you came in with. So I will also make another video, like I said earlier, on some tips to help you get your deposit back. So stay tuned. That'll be my next video that's coming out in about 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. My second point to consider is that spending money on a better moving company may be worth it more than you think. When it comes to choosing a moving company, many people tend to make the mistake of trying to save money. Sometimes getting a cheap moving company might end up costing you more in the long run. Movers are expensive for a reason, and a good mover is not going to damage your belongings. And even if a good mover damages your things, they're going to fix it. So I can understand the need to save money when you're moving, but it's important that you just pay it forward in the long run by getting a good mover and just having insurance on it that will kind of help you when anything is damaged and just save you money in the long run. Majority of moving companies have insurance options. You can choose how much you want to get based on how valuable your things are and maybe the number of belongings that you may have at that given moment that you want to move. This point leads into my next point, which is purchasing moving insurance. Although good movers may be careful with your things, things sometimes happen and items break. This is why it's recommended that you get moving insurance. Like I said before, you can choose how much you want to get based on how valuable your things are and maybe the number of items that you want to move and how heavy some of your things may be. My next point is the issue of stair fees. If you're moving into a building that has stairs but not an elevator, you may end up paying extra fees. Many moving companies charge an extra fee if they have to lug your items up a staircase rather than just sticking in an elevator. And it makes sense. If you've ever lived in an apartment where you have to go upstairs, when you're moving that couch up the stairs, it's very hard work. So it kind of is logical as to why they would charge that extra amount when they're taking things up the stairs. So that's one thing that you really have to take note of, stair fees. Even if your apartment space has an elevator and it happens to not be working that day, they're still going to charge you an extra fee. So just take note of that and just plan for that in the event that anything happens. Another thing that may incur extra fees is the moving of especially heavy objects. Before moving day, typically most good movers will come over to your apartment to conduct an inspection on how much stuff you have to be able to write you an estimate of how much things might cost you. That way, on moving day, they'll know exactly what they're going to be packing and transporting, and you're going to know exactly how much things are going to cost you. If they don't do this, you might be hit with some additional charges on the day of for like carrying really heavy items. Think of something like a piano or a pool table. So keep that in mind. Try to get an inspection done before you move, and that way you have a fair idea of how things are going to cost financially, and they can give you an estimate of how much time it will take them to pack up everything and transport it over to your new apartment. Another thing you do have to keep in mind, especially if you have a lot of belongings, is renting storage space. Now, you have to understand that for many people, moving is a chance to upgrade to a bigger space, but that's not always the case. One may not always have the space to move all your belongings, therefore additional space is going to be needed. Having to store items could mean an additional monthly expense. My next point is that you may incur additional fees if movers have to hold on to your stuff. Some apartment buildings have certain hours for moving in. If you happen to have a lot of things and the movers spend the whole day packing up your things, they may not have enough time to actually help you move into your new spot. Therefore, they might charge you an extra fee for holding on to your things overnight. The next thing to keep in mind is a potential hotel stay, at least for the day of the move-in. If your move doesn't happen in a day, you might want to book a hotel room for the night, just so you can just continue the day after, or however long it's going to take you to actually move in. Because frankly, no one wants to sleep on the floor. I mean, you could if you wanted to. If you have an airbed, you can do that. If you move into the apartment that's already furnished, you don't have to worry about that. But then if you have to move into an apartment where you have to buy your own furniture and buy everything with like the kitchen utensils and everything else, then you might have to keep something like that in mind, at least the bare necessities, and then you can just move in and then buy everything else afterwards. The final thing I want you to keep in mind is parking tickets. Parking tickets are very important to know, especially if you move into a new neighborhood where you're not too familiar with what the parking rules are. You definitely want to take note of parking tickets in the day of. And this counts not just for you, but also for your movers. They might park somewhere where it might be illegal to park and they get a parking ticket. You're obliged, really, I guess it's your obligation to pay for their parking ticket. If they happen to incur any parking ticket fees, you're supposed to pay for that. So just keep that in mind and just be kind of aware of that as you're moving in. Don't park anywhere you're not supposed to park. If there's limited parking, turn your hazard light on and then just do the best you can. Try to navigate the situation as best you can. You can get around all of this by simply just figuring out the parking situation before the day of the move-in. You can also check with your new apartment if you can get a temporary permit while you move your things in, so you can just park it somewhere and have a permit on it so you don't get towed and your movers actually don't get a ticket or get towed either. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really don't take it for granted. Like I said at the beginning of the video, my next video is going to be on 9 tips to help you get your security deposit back when you're moving. I'm not making this necessarily a series, but it's just something I really want to talk about because it's something that personally, when I was moving out of my college apartment, it was something that I had to struggle with and something I had to navigate. So now that I have some idea, I just want to share it so everyone is aware as well. I know it's the beginning of the year. A lot of us are looking to find new spaces, looking to find new places to move to, just new environments. So I get it, but there's some things, technicalities that we have to keep in mind so that it doesn't come back to bite us in the foot. So I'll be making another video on some tips to help you keep your security deposit back. And I have a lot more lifestyle topic videos coming up. So please stay tuned. If you have any more that you want me to treat, please just leave it in the comment section. I'll be more than happy. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. I really appreciate you guys and I hope you have a wonderful week and Happy New Year again and cheers to 2023. I'll see you later. Take care.